Welcome back, everyone. Another beer review. Eric and Jose. Eric, Jose. Here in Baldwin Park.
We're doing coffee stouts, one barrel aged, one not barrel aged.
Okay.
But first up is the Kona coffee, Alesmith collaboration with the Moster coffee. Speedway Stout, 12%. It's a $20 beer. From what I hear is that Kona coffee is like $40 a pound or something like that. So it's very expensive, high-end coffee. It pays to be on time to get these beers because I believe it.
Whoa,
this one, heavy. I believe this in particular sold out in 15 to 30 minutes. You could only buy it online.
Definitely smells like coffee.
Yes, it does.
It smells kind of sweet, a little bit.
It does a little bit. It smells very dark coffee, if that makes sense.
This reminds me
maybe like cold coffee, the way cold coffee smells, right? It's very faint roastiness as opposed to just fresh, hot, steaming, brewed coffee.
This kind of reminds me of milk sugar. Sugar with milk. You know, like when they steam milk and then they add sugar or whatever?
Yeah, maybe, I guess.
Like that. Like that sort of like low sweetness to it. It's pretty good.
Cheers.
Yeah, that coffee, you definitely taste it. It's pretty smooth, actually.
This is very compared to the regular Speedway Stout, which is like a coffee-ish beer to me. This tastes like straight up like half beer, half
Cold coffee.
Yeah, like cold pressed coffee.
Yeah.
Very bitter coffeeness, astringent, very cold coffee bitter.
I like that this still has a lot of that sweetness that most stouts kind of have. It's not lost in the coffee. Sometimes the coffee overtakes it. This one you definitely do get this is a good balanced coffee stout. And it's kind of funny because it's you could definitely taste the fact that this is not barrel aged, which is kind of good in its own way too.
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes the carbonation does add sort of another layer of not complexity to the taste, but more like to the body of the actual beer itself. It kind of gives it a little something. This is pretty good though. I kind of like it just for what it is, just sort of a strong stout with coffee mixed into it. It's kind of nice. It cleans. It's kind of crisp for being a coffee, coffee stout.
It's kind of refreshing a little bit.
It is. You know what? This is kind of, I want to say it's an 8.
I was gonna go the same way.
It's a solid 8. It's not quite up there, but it's a good beer. This is pretty much like what I think a narwhal might be a little bit, like a regular narwhal. It's not quite to the level as some of these other more complex beers are, especially the barrel-aged ones. But I mean, it's still good. It's still, it's still a solid beer. I like it a lot. I kind of wish I had a little bit more coffee flavor to it. Just a little bit more would have been better. But that's just me.
I'm gonna give it an 8 also. I think from now on, just for me personally, 10s are reserved unless someone really does something crazy, but 10s are only reserved and only achieved by barrel aging.
Yeah.
If it's not barrel aged, it could be the most awesome Imperial Stout, but it's not going to reach nowhere near complexity and the what my palate trip is on now.
Yeah, because here the thing is that when the more you try things, you have to sort of restructure your leveling.
When we went there, we had the flight, so it was like Speedway Stout's like, Speedway Stout, good. But the variation Vietnamese one, it's like, it's just the coffee that's different.
Yeah.
So it's like, Like you can tell a difference. And then this is like, barrel aging is like, It's like, oh yeah, that's where it's at. You know,
It makes you
that's
warm
the
and
good.
fuzzy.
That's the good stuff. And that's what it is. Just variation of the coffee. And because it's so expensive, I think that's where the price increase goes. Because
Yeah.
$40 for a pound of this coffee, and it's kind of like. Not necessarily what everyone would use, but it's kind of like a cool factor about the
Yeah.
beer. You know, it's like aged in, 18 karat gold. It may not taste good, but it's probably super expensive or
Yeah.
whatever.
Or if they started,
Something
you know,
dumb
yeah,
like that,
yeah,
you know?
like if they just started, like wrapping, instead of dipping in wax, they dip it in, some other expensive wax, which adds to the cost.
Yeah, like
It doesn't-
astronaut wax. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
so it just sort of,
Well, yeah,
but,
I don't know.
but it just
Nothing
it,
can penetrate it.
yeah, it actually sort of it increases the price of the beer, but not necessarily directly to the beer itself in a way. It's more about the packaging, or it's more about something kind of beside the beer, not necessarily the beer itself, because they still use the regular Speedway Stout. It's just other variations of it. That's all.
Right, and
You know.
even you can impress baristas, who've never had
The Kona.
Kona coffee, let alone a Kona coffee beer.
Right. All right. So next one up, Avery Brewing again. Tweak. So this is a stout aged with coffee and in bourbon barrels, 17.81%. So can't forget that one at the end.
I, by the way, have been chasing this beer for a while since
Really?
it eluded me the first time, and I was. It's kind of hard for your pride and for your wallet to trade for something that you almost had your hands on and is distributed. So you have to like get it out of state. It's like, oh, this is fucking stupid bullshit. You're paying double the price of what you should have paid the first time.
Yeah.
So I was not gonna make that mistake again.
Decent amount of head, I guess. Extremely black. A lot of great lacing on that thing. I mean, it's really good. See if you guys can see that. Hear that?
It's funny how the barrel
Nice.
aging they smell similar but also very different.
Yeah.
I'm not getting much coffee.
Yeah, me neither. Smells very barrel aged, but kind of boozy. But
Obviously the thick sweetness. Not that much booziness.
I don't really get the coffee too much.
No.
I think I smell the roastiness, but I'm not sure if
Very
it's that
slight,
or if
very
it's,
slight.
I don't know.
Let's try it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's even more aggressive. It's funny because people, you think that a percent or two doesn't make that much of a difference, but it does when it comes to alcohol. I don't want to say syrupy, but this seems like it has
It is kind of syrupy.
it is syrupy, but it almost feels like it's, I don't know, like it doesn't quite coat your tongue a bit, but it does almost.
I'm pretty impressed, pretty amazed by the way that barrel aging just, no matter what you add to it, it just,
Elevates everything.
it just tones it down because it's made with coffee. I'm not getting a very strong coffee taste.
I'm not getting strong coffee taste at all.
I do get a slight aftertaste roastiness.
Yeah, I don't get the coffee, but I get that roasty taste. The coffee is not really coming through very much.
The alcohol is not too much of a beast in this,
Not really, no.
even though Avery does make the beast.
I kind of get a lot of the. I do get.
Very sweet.
It is. It's very sweet. It's almost. I'm kind of debating if that's a minus because that's how sweet it is. It kind of crossed that line of my sweet, tolerance, but not by that much. But it did cross the line a little bit. But it's still good. I kind of feel like the only thing that's really bothering me is just the fact that I'm not getting coffee on this. That's the only thing that I'm kind of not liking about this, But it's still a really good beer. It's just I kind of wish it tasted like coffee,
Yeah. I kind of feel like I think this is kind of like a victory at sea on steroids. I like it a lot. I like the sweetness. I like this. This made this taste a little more complex and a little better than a stout because it does have that sweetness and slight roastiness.
Yeah. So it kind of seems like you've already made up your mind as to what you think
Yes.
this is then. So go
This
ahead.
this is a 10 for sure. I think it's a little, well, like I just said, it's a little more complex than the Uncle Jacob's. I like that vanilla, and I like the vanilla and booziness combination. That's a perfect combination with the roasty, malty backbone to not, it's not too sweet, it's not too boozy, and I like it like this.
Okay.
The barrel aging, very sweet, molasses. I like that.
This is very similar to the Uncle Jacob Stout. So very good, but it does hit like those notes that I don't like too much. Okay. So for me, this is pretty much like an 8-9, leaning more towards a 9 though. It's just hitting those notes I don't like that much. That's all it really is. I like a lot of the booziness. I like the fact, I mean, just, it's barrel aged, so it does have the sweetness to it. The sweetness did go past a bit, cross that my line a bit, but not so much. But I do prefer the Uncle Jacob Stout to this. This is really good. Just a tad too sweet, but not bad. I'm not getting a lot of coffeeness to it. I do definitely get roastiness, but it just sort of, lacks a little bit in that.
What people don't know is that you don't have that much of a sweet tooth.
I don't.
I do.
I don't.
So it just goes to show that this is all bullshit and it's all personal preference.
It really is. I mean, these values that we give to it, it's to our personal taste, and your taste will most likely not be like ours, or they might be similar in some aspects, but not exactly like ours. We do more of a guide.
Yeah, and we're actually kind of opposites because you have hair on top and I currently don't have hair here, but you have hair here.
We do a lot of opposites, and and you like a lot of sweet stuff. I don't really like
you
sweet
don't.
stuff at all, really.
Yeah. So it's just really you got to take these beer reviews with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I would still recommend to pick this up because it is still, like, forget the fact that it's coffee or whatever. Just it's still a really good beer.
Yeah.
It's really good. Definitely pick them up if you can. You won't regret it. And if you do, well, then you have that 17% to kind of
wash your tears away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah. So
that's it.
all right. So cheers, everyone. Good drinking and